I had the pleasure of being here in Addis Ababa in October of 2009 for the first mission of this project for women in peace and security in the Horn of Africa. And I was here with Mary Robinson, and it was an excellent gathering, but the women were much more isolated, much less cohesive as a group than they became. And there was a certain tentativeness and uncertainty about what would actually be gained from this project. Many of the women were actually quite fearful. They were fearful of being seen in photographs, fearful of being seen by their ambassadors, and not so confident, although individually in their own countries they were doing interesting things. In the course of almost 3 years, because it's not quite 3 years, but in the course of almost 3 years, there's been a remarkable transformation. First of all, you could almost feel viscerally the sense of confidence and the cohesion of the group, that these are women who now have bonded with one another. And the fact that, for example, the women from Ethiopia make a point of wanting to be photographed with me with the women from Eritrea. Now, this is a commitment from them to their belief in peace and the bonds they've been able to forge beyond regional animosities in the context of this program. They've already, in many cases, had meetings with the senior officials in their countries. They're less fearful of being seen publicly to be doing the advocacy that they're doing. So there's just been a kind of quantum leap in terms of their own confidence, their own skills, and the connectedness of the group, which I think makes it an even more powerful network. In other words, they each will do the work in their own countries. What they've been talking about, the importance of thinking regionally, thinking nationally, thinking locally, that they're strategizing at different levels. But the fact that they're thinking beyond their own countries strategically and tactically, I think is very, very important. And it's all really come out of their interactions in the, 10 missions of this project. The G40, I think, has two different roles. One as a convening center for a group of women from the countries of the Horn of Africa who want to learn skills, who want to develop and increase their capacity to advocate for women to be around the table in negotiations and planning related to conflict resolution, peace and security issues. So it has a convening power to bring people together to share information. But I think it's also become a valuable network that can be a resource for other organizations as well. When we met first in Addis in 2009, representatives of other organizations, whether from the AU or IGAD or whatever, they were very polite and they were happy to come and they do their little thing about their commitment to women and all this. But there was a certain almost condescension to the women here, that they didn't really take them all that seriously, or they certainly didn't feel they were sitting in the presence of people who were going to have a powerful impact in their countries. Now it's very different. Now I think they see this body, this G40, as a network that can be very helpful to them in achieving their own goals. It was very interesting when we heard that IGAD, for example, supposedly has a regional action plan for the implementation of Resolution 1325, and nobody really knew about it. Well, they understand that you can have all the best policies in the world and programs and action plans. If nobody knows about it, then they have no value. So how do they get their information to the grassroots in a region where communication is very difficult, where everybody isn't just sort of turning on the TV at night and catching the news, or getting little updates on their smartphones or their computers or their iPads. It's a very, very difficult region to communicate. So having a network of networks, which is really what the G40 is, of people who have penetrated into the grassroots of this area, but penetrated it in to do a form of social activism that's very congenial to what these organizations' agendas are. All of a sudden now, this is an asset. This is a group of people who can really be part of a solution. Beyond their own issues of advocacy, they can partner with other organizations. So I think that in addition to the purpose that G40 serves for its members as being kind of a vehicle for learning, growing, supporting one another, sharing ideas and information and becoming more effective, it's also now a partner for other bodies, whether they're UN bodies or other bodies that are active in the region, to enhance their effectiveness as well.